Welcome, Kowshik and Srepriya.
Hi, Rishika. How are you?
I'm absolutely good. So this is the Valentine special, and
Hi, welcome.
Thank you, Kowshik. Thank you. I should be actually welcoming you. So Kowshik and Srepriya, if you can just tell us what is it that made the two of you come together in the first place? This is before the business. Let's talk about your matrimony. Let's talk about before matrimony. How did you two meet?
20 years back, I didn't know who he was. So it was pretty much an arranged marriage, just like a typical South Indian conservative family. So it was an arranged marriage. And we both were in corporate careers before business.
Okay.
So, it's not that we started off business immediately. We both were in our respective careers. He comes from an IT background and I come from a financial services background. So for about good 15 years, so I think we've kind of completed our corporate journey. And then, he's more of the entrepreneur person. So
Lovely.
I'm more of the employment type. He's like the perfect entrepreneur fit. So you should be asking him on how he started off with his entrepreneurial journey. Because we are running other companies other than this.
Okay.
So Astrix is not our first venture. So Kowshik has actually had a couple of other ventures. And we also continue to run a US mortgage BPO, which is our first joint venture together as far as business is concerned.
Right. So Kowshik, can you be very, very confident and tell me that Srepriya has actually cracked the code to the door of your heart? She knows everything that goes inside mentally.
I didn't hear there was a drop. I didn't hear what you said.
I said, does she have the key to your heart? Srepriya, does Srepriya?
Yeah, very much.
Great. So
we work on a keyless entry, Rishika. So
what is the code that she uses?
The only key that I use is a key to the heart, I think.
That's wonderful. So that's the key that we all require. So tell me, Kowshik, when despite of you being IT person and of course the entrepreneur spirits that you have had, what made you realize that Srepriya is the perfect partner for you for your execution, for your sales? And we could see that on the pitch as well. She was all out there talking about Rishi and Dimple. This pitch, how did it come up in being? But more importantly, how did you know Srepriya is the right partner in business as well?
See, we both of us were a notch ahead of the rest of the community around. And being entrepreneurs and journey towards entrepreneurship requires that little edge, not only in your work, in judging people, understanding the deals, the negotiations, the cracking the deals. There are so many things. It's no, you have to see whether the security is there at 9 o'clock, your water is coming at all the time, your business is running as usual. Everything has to be controlled. It's not like an big organization where your life goes on an email. Okay, you would send an email and things get done. That's not the way the entrepreneurship is framed. You have to know, you have to be in control of everything, you have to be on top of things all the time. And it's highly strategic in the sense you should be worrying about next year when you have to survive this year also. So if all these things are in place, then only you will see a positive in your entrepreneurial journey. So coming to the question, what I found like Priya will be a suitable partner is in the sense she is almost there, very much there in her native talent and the talent and skills she are born with. She is an expert negotiator. She is a very good deal maker. And she has got excellent communication skills in the sense it's not just the language, it's about communicating difficult scenarios and converting these difficult business aspects into positives. So that I'll give it to her every day. That's one thing. And second thing is her balance. In times of difficulties, in times of threats, her steadfast determination and her common sense in looking at coming back to the basics, to the square one, and thinking again and seeing whether we are on the right track, whether we need to change direction, whether we need to push ahead in the same direction. We don't know, right? You won't know. You won't know whether your decision is right or wrong until the results are seen.
Right.
There are so many decisions. There are so many decisions you have to keep taking and pushing your gut and moving ahead. I find her very sensible in a lot of decisions wherein common sense comes into play, and her determination and I would say even bullhead to push ahead in times of difficulties and when there are so many uncertainties around.
I get that. I get that. Srepriya, tell me, is this the longest compliment you've got in 20 years?
Yes, of course. I'm worried. I'm stumped.
Anupam Mittal
He keeps telling me, okay, Kowshik is a person who's actually very generous with a lot of compliments, and on and off, he keeps
nice.
telling, okay, this and that and things like that.
Very
but yeah,
rare trait. Very rare
longest single, monologue. This is the longest monologue I've ever heard since marriage. So,
so I was pointing out towards this. Anupam Mittal also said this. You are admirable. He landed up even saying that you are the changing face.
Oh yeah.
So how did you take that compliment? How was that? Kowshik, you tell me, how much did you agree at that point? And wasn't that a proud moment when somebody else compliments your wife for her business etiquette and sense, all of that? It was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah. See, Priya has a knack of getting the compliments, rewards, recognitions right from her college days. She has been a face which was recognized by one and all. She has a knack of moving along with people, and she also has a knack of being remembered by people. Okay, she has given a 5-minute pitch, she can make it count. So yes, she's there, and people who talk to her will definitely recognize my comment and agree with me.
Srepriya, what would you believe should be the branding for Kowshik? As in, what was that one message that people should have when he is in a conversation, or without him being present, what is that one statement that people should know about him?
I would say his intelligence, the deep thinking, the depth, right? So I don't know if it is a skill set that a lot of software guys have, but they've been used to constructing architecture, software architecture and things like that, right, which requires them to think deep. So, I cover the width part of it. Right. So I don't get too much deep into things. But he's a person who's very fine with details and will get to the depth and understand everything completely before he starts thinking and starts putting things together. So his depth of coverage is extensive. So that's what we jokingly say, I cover the width and you cover the depth. So
wonderful. So
I'm the speaker and he's the thinker. So great. It's like that. That's the kind of combo that we have. So he thinks and he does everything, and I just kind of present it and speak about it. So that's the confluence we do. So he's an extremely naturally, he's naturally talented with that extensive thought process, and that depth in thought is really, really admirable.
Kowshik, when taking from what Srepriya is just saying, the depth and of course all of that comes into play. So when we were at the pitch, when you were at the pitch, of course, when we all got to witness it as well, there was a point where Anupam Mittal also mentioned that since it is a B2B model, I think you also validated the fact that it is a B2B model when it comes to Astrix. Right. So do you see that to be a constraint today, or do you think that B2B is the right move to go on? B2C is not going to happen, or is it already being planned? Was it triggered? What happened in that? So how are we going with that?
Yeah, see, this business can be executed only through the B2B model. It cannot be a B2C because I buy a house, I get a lock with the house, and I very rarely think of changing the lock or replacing it with a smart one or anything. It's very, very rare. Whereas your customers are going to be large scale builders or OEM partners or various other business people, where B2C is a very, very small percentage of the total business. And this business can be done only through B2B.
Okay. Okay. So
it was not more of, it was their interest that they didn't have in B2B. Right. As such, the model itself or the applicability of the model to our company and our marketing strategy, I think it's a perfect fit. It is just that they wanted to invest in B2C business. Their preference of investment was more towards B2C because they all come from a B2C background. You take Bharat Pay is a retail B2C, usage product. You take Shadi.com, it's a B2C. You say boat, it is B2C. So there you take Sugar Cosmetics, it's completely B2C. So they all come from a B2C background. And if you observe, Anupam said, our experience or our learning in a B2B has not been too great so far because we've been operating in a B2C model and they understand that part of the business. So it's just that perspective that it was there. But otherwise, I don't think there is a need to change our model because
I agree with you. I agree with you, Srepriya. So I have had a considerable, experience when it comes to construction as well. But I can't totally ignore the fact that what Ashneer said when he said the brand recall value. So he mentioned if there is something like a Samsung, the next thing is Samsung ka na laga do, or I will buy it. So Samsung and LGs and all of those things are already, despite of the fact that you might have very strong unique selling points. How do you look at it today? How are you going to create that brand recall value? Are you planning to do that? Are you going to work on that, or are you going to be sticking to the model itself altogether? What do you want to do with the brand?
See, yes, this was, I think you should understand, this was a kind of a 1 hour conversation that we had at the time. And we had just about a 10-minute presentation, obviously edited out in terms of critical questions and answers.
Sure.
And yes, Samsung did come up. However, the price point of Samsung needs to be analyzed. Now, as a lock, if you go to Samsung, what happens is the range is somewhere in the 40, 50, 60K, right? Now, there are Chinese products available at 10,000 rupees or 12,000 rupees. And just for the brand, see, brand has a value,
right?
But not that people will pay 500% more just for that brand value. If you go around your house, you would have a Samsung TV, but that doesn't mean you'll have only a Samsung washing machine.
Right.
A Samsung phone, your phone will be a different phone, maybe even Oppo, Vivo. Your washing machine may be an LG or a Whirlpool. Your refrigerator will be different, but Samsung has a play in all of these spaces. But that doesn't mean just because I own a Samsung TV, every instrument of mine in the house needs to be Samsung, right? So we told that doesn't hold necessarily good, especially because our price points are like 400% lesser than what Samsung would be charging in the market. We go to the market at 10,000, 12,000, 13,000, 16,000 rupees. Samsung is at 40,000, 60K.
Right.
And that is applicable for a small percentage of the entire market, which is the elite market.
Right.
India's narrative is not your elite market. It is your mass market and the mid-market segment. And not all of them will get to Samsung lock from the mechanical lock. No, I will put only Samsung. That doesn't work. If that's the case, no other phone player should have been there. No Oppo, no Vivo. It should all have been Samsungs of the world.
I agree with you. Yes. So
that's what we said, and he seemed to agree.
So even with the brand recall value, again, even with your target audience, Srepriya, or maybe even Kowshik, since Srepriya's screen is just gone. So either one of you can answer this. So this brand recall value with the B2B, you know that LinkedIn is the place to generate those businesses. You do network. So are these target audience already there? How are you activating Astrix there?
See, actually, I could not hear anything you said.
Sorry,
The
Kaushik.
connection is so bad. What if we reconnect?
Srepriya, would you like to take that question?
Yeah. So yes, the branding and LinkedIn and all we are doing, but our predominant market is the builder community.
Right.
Branding is definitely essential. And I think being on Shark Tank has provided that edge for us in terms of branding exercise, certainly. And a lot of other things are also happening other than Shark Tank. Like, for example, we are just awarded as the best startup company in Coimbatore by
Lovely.
the
Congratulations.
Coimbatore Management Association. So it's all a lot of things are there where we are branding and our credibility on them. See, branding is required only to attach some kind of a credibility score to the product or the organization.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, your name doesn't imply any branding.
Yeah.
Right. The exact branding just attaches credibility to your product quality.
And
that's
it has
all.
And it has to be an activity. It cannot be like, you cannot just leave it as that. Okay, I have achieved the certificate, or I have got this validation. That's it. So there has to be an activity. We need to be having something called visibility. That's exactly why it's a part of branding activities.
And it's a journey for a startup. So a startup doesn't get that branding on day one.
Right.
It comes as a journey. As more and more consumers use your product, more and more consumers give their experience of the product to the open market. And it's just not because I do some 1 crore worth of digital marketing, it doesn't come.
No, of course not. Yes.
So that is something we're very sensitive to. And currently we are the only indigenous manufacturer in this market. So whomever we are comparing with, be it a Samsung, be it a Yale, be it whatever it is in this market, we are the indigenous manufacturer of this product. And I think that is our predominant USP more than the pricing. Of course, we are competitive in pricing. Of course, our quality is great. All of that stuff is there. But that's there true for many people. Many people will say, okay, my quality is great. But how long can we depend on Chinese markets for even basic things such as locks?
Right.
So we are the indigenous manufacturer, and that itself will go a long way in enabling the branding exercise for our company. And that's certainly something we are looking at in the days to come.
Great.
For the individuals involved in the organization and also for the organization as such.
Great. If you feel at any point in time you need any help with LinkedIn, you can always drop in a message. You already have my contact details. So the best thing about today's takeaway is that you people are really partners in crime and in rhyme. It is amazing to have spent such lovely quality time with you, Kaushik. I know there was a voice and audio issue. But then it was really, really nice. And it's an honor to have both of you on the screen together with me. Thank you so much, Srepriya.
Thank you, Rishika. We should probably spend some time after this to understand a little more about what you do, and we'll stay connected.
Absolutely.
Probably tomorrow, day after, and see where we can, understand more about each other and our businesses.
Great. So at this point in time, I'm already following the page Astrix Engineering. You can also feel free to, just follow Office Craft as well. It's on LinkedIn. The best part is that when this video will be featured, it will be going straight away onto the company page. Then we can have the free flow as well.
Sure. Nice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to both of you. Thank you.